And hello. Yes, we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live spoiler talk of the Batman. Now, there's been spoiler talks going on since last Thursday. We started on Rudy's channel.
Yes, we did.
Last Thursday when nobody had seen this movie except for like 5 people. And we talked to all 5 of them. It was awesome.
Yeah. Agent Show, thanks for being on short notice, man. I appreciate that.
Dude, absolutely. Any chance to hang out with anybody and talk with movies, especially with Rudy there, Cody Leach was there. Ramon was trying to harass us in the comments like he does.
That was you. I'm just kidding.
He got banned. It's no worries. So to my left here, stage left or whatever, Seth, the man in front of the curtain. Used to be the man behind the curtain. Then he got a camera. Below him is Ramon from Hit or Miss TV. How you doing, dude?
Hey.
Let's go. And right next to him is Rudy. Rudy A. Vengeance. Okay.
Vengeance today.
Vengeance.
I am vengeance.
All right. Well, okay. So obviously we're in the mood. We are ready to talk to Batman. Are you ready to talk to Batman? Leave us comments below. Also, be sure check out the description of this video and jump on Rudy and Ramon's pages, YouTube channels as well. Give them some love. You guys ready to get this started?
Absolutely. Yep.
All right, let's start in 3, 2. All right, there it is. The phone line.
What's going on with your mic?
My mic?
Yeah, sounds weird.
Is it weird now?
There we go.
No, there we go. It's good now.
Something in the
Oh, now it's weird again. It was like half a second. It was fine.
How about now?
Yes. Okay, it's good now.
I didn't do anything.
Magic
then.
mic.
All right. Well, let me just make sure everything's plugged in tightly here. Okay. We have our first comment. Rudy, it's you. Hello,
It's
everyone.
me. Hello, everybody.
We're going to open the phone lines, right, Seth? That's what we agree on? All right. Or the phone line. There we go. If you guys want to call us live on the show, you can at 740-257-3447. Line is now open. And I got so many callers backed up already. So if you don't get through your first try, please try and try again. All right. With that being said, let's dive into some of the good for the Batman. And Seth, I'm going to bring the stage to you because, I've been talking to these guys quite a bit the past couple of days, but I want to hear what you have to say. What do you like about the Batman?
I think the biggest standout for this movie, to me at least, was just the entire cast. Like everybody did, I think, is like perfectly cast in this movie. Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, Paul Dano, and specifically, I know everybody's talking when it comes to standout villains. Everybody's talking about Penguin, who was a great casting. I love Colin Farrell's Penguin. Falcone, though, is my favorite villain in this movie. Actually, and this is spoilers, so I really liked his story with Catwoman.
Him being the father.
Him being the father of Catwoman, and I don't know. I just really enjoyed that story and the whole Catwoman trying to get revenge and Batman stopping her from that. I don't know. I love Falcone in this movie. I don't read the comics. I don't know if you guys read the comics, but is Falcone being Catwoman's father? Is that in any comic edition that we know of, or is that Matt Reeves' original concept? To
my knowledge, I've read a lot as a kid and that, reading a lot of them. I don't recall any comics where that was the case. So I don't know. To my knowledge, it's the first time that's been done.
Yeah. I haven't read The Long Halloween in a while, but I have a feeling in the back of my mind they had some sort of connection. I can't remember. I don't think he was her father, but I think they had some sort of connection in The Long Halloween.
Well, so there's obviously some pre-built, connection between those two. Okay.
Yeah.
The cast, like you said, Seth, it was a nice surprise because it's not a cast that comes out and you're just like, yes, everybody looks perfect for the role. It's a cast that comes out and you're like, well, I think I'm going to have to see that. I mean, Robert Pattinson, obviously, anybody who gets chosen to be Batman is going to be put on, the hot seat. and be picked apart. Zoe Kravitz doesn't have too much credibility to their name that I know of anyway. I know Paul Dano has some pretty good credibility, but again, like you're thinking Riddler, how's this adorable man going to play the Riddler, and then what? Seth, don't laugh. You know you look like Paul Dano.
I saw it coming. I knew it was coming.
I don't know where you would get that from.
I don't see it.
Ramon's been gaslighting me with this bullshit right here.
Where you would get that from?
Ramon and I had a whole conversation about how he looks like Paul Dano, and now Ramon's denying it and making me look like a dick.
I would never disrespect Seth. I've got Seth's back all the way.
See, Seth, this is what toxic relationships look like. Colin Farrell, as you said, Seth, everyone's talking about him, and rightfully so, as the Penguin, because I almost wish they never would have announced that he was in this. I wish they would have announced that he was in it afterwards.
Yeah,
that would have been cool. Like
that would have been insane. And there's one thing that I wanted to, since you brought up the cast real quick, what do we think about Joker? That last little snippet of it. The snippet. Who's the guy that plays the Joker, Seth? I can't remember.
Barry Keoghan, I think is how you pronounce his name.
He played in Eternals.
Yeah, he was in in the movie that I remember he stood out for me was The Killing of a Sacred Deer. I remember seeing that kid, he's not like early 20s, but I remember thinking, man, this guy's a great actor.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what else he does. I actually told my girlfriend, this is going to be the next Sean Penn. I really like the way he just captivates.
What was that movie? I'll have to check that out.
The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Okay.
And Colin Farrell's in that too, by the way. But it's an amazing movie, and he's an amazing talent. And he's also like in episode 5 of Chernobyl, which is one of my favorite television series that's recently come out. So, and also in Dunkirk. So this actor, he's amazing. I think we just got a quick tease. I don't know what type of Joker he's going to portray. Initially, when I first saw it, I was like, already with the Joker, let's kind of hold off on that. Let's get some other villains in here. But after my third viewing, I'm like, okay, the laugh is creepy. I know who the actor is. I like they kind of tease that. I hope we see less of him in the next one. They just kind of build up his reputation. I think it has a lot of potential to give us a unique Joker we haven't seen yet, because he's a lot younger than the other ones we've seen.
Right. And that's fair. And like, I don't really have much ground to even say what to expect, moving forward. But like, I guess what I was trying to ask is like, what was like your first initial reaction seeing? Because my first initial reaction was, oh, really? We're doing that again?
Well, mine was like yours then. The first time I saw it, like, oh, already? Like, come on, let's.
Yeah, what did you think, Seth? When you first saw that? And I know I'm skipping like right to the very end on this, but like I've been.
It's the big thing everybody wants to talk about a lot. Like,
get it out there. So.
I get it. So leading up to this movie, there were a ton of rumors of Barry Keoghan playing the Joker, and leading up to it, I was like, I don't know if I want that. Save Joker. everybody's kind of on that same page. But as soon as he showed up, I was sold immediately. Not just on Barry Keoghan's performance, but on on Joker being in this universe. Because I'm like, I like Joker. Like I will always say, oh, save Joker. But if you bring in Joker in the first movie, I'll watch it. I like the Joker. With Batman comes the Joker in my mind. Like you can't have Joker without Batman. You kind of can, and you can't have Batman without Joker. Like they come together. So
peanut
like
butter and jelly, yin and yang, cereal and milk.
Exactly.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
So I'm completely sold, and I really liked Barry Keoghan in Eternals. So I'm excited to see his performance in this franchise.
He was the only thing I liked about the Eternals, that and some of the cinematography, but he's one of my favorite casted members of that movie.
I liked him a lot in that movie.
All right, Ramon, we're going to jump to you. Seth, is there anything else you want to add to what you liked about this movie? I mean, we all know it looked good and all this stuff. As a matter of fact, Derpy Gaming chimed in here in the comments, says, Gotham City is what I liked about the Batman, and Derpy, I love saying that name. Thank you for commenting. You're absolutely right, Derpy. The city was alive in this movie. It reminded me of if you took Tim Burton's Gotham City and just put a modern twist on it. You know what I mean? It really did. It like had that same aesthetic to it, that same almost fantastical element, which is something that the more I think about it, I'm really excited about this movie. Is even as grounded as it is, it's so grounded it's almost surreal. Like it's not, you know what I mean? Like life
Yeah.
is almost not that grounded, which to me opens up an option for a lot of fantastical doors to be opened. But we'll dive into that moving on with this conversation. Ramon, please
Yes,
let
sir.
us know what you thought about what do you like about this movie? The first thing that jumps out of your head.
I said it the other day. I really love the opening sequence with Riddler because I wasn't expecting. Normally, with these sorts of movies, you have to wait a while till you see the villain, and I wasn't expecting. Like I said to you the other day, when he's standing at the back of that room, I thought it was a statue at first. So when you see the eyes moving, I was like, "Oh shit!" I was kind of thinking, like I said to you guys, I felt it was like that vibe with like Silence of the Lambs and like that really creepy serial killer dude lurking in the corners and stuff. It creeped me out. It really creeped me out. So I really loved how he was introduced. Again, like you've all said, I thought the cinematography and the general feel of everything, I loved. I loved the feel of it. I loved the rain. Again, it gives those feelings of, like I said the other day, of like watching The Crow for the first time, where the city's always dark and it's always moody. And it's everything I wanted in a Batman. There was a few things I was a bit like, but in general, I thought it was a very good movie. It's difficult not to say how much I am attracted to Zoe Kravitz because she's just, oh my goodness, like it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But again, I thought her presence on screen, I didn't know how they would be together. I thought they were great. There was no performances in it. Normally you have a performance, as I say, that sometimes doesn't fit in, or someone that sort of sticks out like a sore thumb, and I just think everyone in it was right for the movie. My only issues, as I'll mention a bit later on, it's just personal things. It didn't really take away anything from the movie for me enjoying it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it again. In fact, I think my criticisms are probably a bit harsh because I went into the movie so hyped up, like what's it all about? I don't think I kind of grasped everything, so I think I need to see it again anyway.
I feel
overall, overall, I thought it was a really good movie.
There's definitely a lot to take in with this film, and we're not all fortunate enough like Rudy here to go see it 3 times in the week, but it's one of those movies. I'm on the same page with you, Ramon. Like I need to go see it again, and I knew I need to go see it again the moment I walked out of the theater. But we'll talk a little bit later. I think I've identified my issues with that. Rudy, sir, what do you like about the Batman? The floor is yours, sir.
Real quick, just to kind of add with you both just said, it's a lot of movie to absorb in the first showing. I remember walking out of it, I didn't know, speechless. I didn't know what to say. And you were there on my reaction. I was excited about a couple scenes, but I didn't know how I felt about it. I didn't want to call it a masterpiece. I didn't appreciate it until after the second viewing, because by that time you've already know the riddles. Your brain's not going crazy trying to solve it before Batman does, just to have that clout. You're just enjoying the movie for what it is, right?
Right.
And that's exactly what I did. I walked away loving it even more the second time, and that's never happened, dude, in a movie where I walked out loving it more the second time. So what I love about the Batman, there's a ton of things, but I don't want to take the whole hour. But outside of the cinematography, the directing, the set design, the lighting, the costume design, the cast, the set, everything, the Batmobile design, everything about this film I love. But the one thing, seeing it for the third time, kind of like stood out for me was how Robert Pattinson played Batman. Because think about it, if we were to dress all of us up in this suit, in the costume, how would we stand in a room? How would we enter a room? How do we look at people? How would we engage in people? And I think with Robert Pattinson and the direction he had, I love the use of his eyes. He acted so much and portrayed so much emotion in every scene with just his eyes, and just how he just walked into a room and just was very stoic with his stature and kind of looked at people and was very low spoken. He was quiet, but he had a commanding presence in every scene that he was in, no matter who was with him in that scene. So I want to say that for the third time seeing it, I love Pattinson's portrayal as Batman. It was
he had like an insecurity behind the confidence too. It was like I know exactly what you're talking about. That look was like, I get what you're saying, man. And that's a true testament to his acting capabilities. Derpy, you actually brought up something that we were talking about backstage before we started the show, and that's he prefers The Dark Knight as Batman, as a Batman film over this one, at least. And we were talking about how people want to pin these movies against each other because that's like the nature of the beast of what we do.
Yeah.
You know, like we always like, oh well, this Joker's better than this one. Remember Seth when we did a Joker ranking like years ago? I think it was our first anniversary on Film Trigger. We
ranked
ranking.
the actors, didn't we?
And like after I ranked those actors, I felt so bad. I was like, you know what? Why are we ranking? This should be like when you go to buy, a nice bottle of liquor or something, you got top shelf, middle shelf, and bottom shelf. And that's where I'm going to start laying out my movies. I'm not going to pin them up against each other, but where do you land at? Are you top shelf Batman? You medium shelf Batman? Or are you bottom shelf Batman? That's how I look at it. I'm going to chime in here with what I liked about this movie before we move on to our mixed aspects of it. And number one, I do love the fact that this movie feels different. No matter what I say moving forward about how I feel like certain things were just reused and rehashed, but the movie just feels different. Like it's separated from all the other Batman movies in my head. And I think that's a wonderful accomplishment that Matt Reeves has done. That again, all the acting was superb. The subtleties in the movie that people like that make the movie experience fun, like the website. You guys know about the website?
Yeah.
I still got it open.
Oh, what's it at right now? Here, let me see if I can. Hold on. Let me see if I can bring it up. Yeah, because I still have it where Seth sent it to me yesterday.
That's so bad, isn't it?
Here, I'm going to share this. We'll see what percent this thing's on.
Saved the
Is this the website that the Riddler had open?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Y'all, I haven't even logged into it yet. I don't know what's on there.
Let's see here.
That's so bad, isn't it?
It's just cool. Like it's
Tracy. Oh,
So this is the URL. What they say in the movie, the URL.
well, that's cool.
Yeah, but what is it?
just wait. You get to it.
It gets better because there's a countdown. And the countdown is growing. It's at 40. It was at 29% yesterday during Drive-By News, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we know what it's counting down to, Seth?
We have no idea. At first it was going up every hour. I think it's slowed down a little bit. Like I think it's going up like 1% every hour and a half or something now. Like it's slowed down, but we have no idea what's going to happen when it reaches 100%. I was saying yesterday, it could be something as small as like a little Easter egg. And some people are thinking it could be something as big as like a sequel reveal.
Right.
Like we have no idea what it is. Though.
I saw this 2 days ago and I clicked on it and I came to this screen and I saw click for reward. And I thought it was like one of those hacking sites. I jumped out of it immediately. We haven't clicked on this, have we?
No. It's
we did look at this yesterday. I remember now.
Oh yeah, you looked at it. You didn't show it because it's
Yeah.
technically kind of a spoiler for the movie. So
But we have no idea. It's a riddle of some kind.
yeah, you solve that riddle. It shows a clip from the movie.
Oh,
Interesting.
It's like
yeah.
it's like the news report with Thomas Wayne during. I can't remember what part it was in the movie, but there was a news report that Thomas Wayne was on. It shows that. So
Interesting. Hey, Seth, will you write down that URL and put it in the comments so anybody watching can copy it and visit it?
Yep.
Sweet. Thanks, man.
Nice.
All right. Yeah. Sorry, going that, but those are the subtleties I'm talking about. That's what makes, especially in the new age of movie viewing, just these new ideas to get multimedia involved, so we can have fun like this and talk about it on shows like ours right now. And I love these things. I love how they did that, and hopefully there's more to come out of this movie that we haven't caught yet. I'm really excited for that.
Can I just say one more thing that I like that it's just on my mind.
Is it going to get you banned or
no? I did say on it.
Real quick, Ramon. Sorry, Derby. Yeah, I prefer the Batman. I got you now. Thank you.
I said it on our live yesterday drive-by that I wasn't excited for this movie, and I was pleasantly surprised by it. I just was unsure because I was so into like the Zack Snyder stuff. I was like, the Batman. That scene where he first walks out in the rain, and
Yes.
we've seen it in the trailers. I said it yesterday. When he's I am vengeance, like that. was right near the beginning. But as soon as I was watching it and I was hearing that music in the theater, it just, from that then onwards, I was sold. I don't know why. I'd seen the clip a million times before, but when it, in the context of the movie and when it got to that, I was just that yeah. Like I just, yeah. And that's when I was that, from then on, I was sold. So that, again, that was a big part of the selling it for me when I started watching it. That was all.
Yeah, there's a lot of exciting surprises. I mean, not surprises. We kind of knew what we were going into getting the movie, but like, you know, hearing with you guys, you know, watching Rudy and Ramon both talk about how they love the horror aspect of it, and these are horror fans. You know, like it pleased horror fans, and that's not easy to do, right? Yeah, like it's not easy to do. Let's see. If you think this film is better, or if you don't think this film is better than The Dark Knight, then you are blind by nostalgia.
I will argue that.
I mean, that's a bold statement. Like,
right.
I think
she blinded me with nostalgia.
I think Robert Pattinson is better than Christian Bale as Batman, in my opinion. But like as a movie, I don't know.
They're both great. You really can't compare.
They are really great. I don't want to compare them, but like I want to say this.
System. I'm telling y'all.
I want to say this. The Dark Knight is like, it's one of like the great like movies like ever made. You know, there's like, you know, you have like The Empire Strikes Back. You have like Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know, there's a whole bunch of movies on that list, and The Dark Knight is definitely up there. So I think saying that you're blinded by nostalgia if you like that movie is an interesting statement.
Yeah.
And it's two things actually. One of them of the Joker, when he walks in the room, that's number one, and the other one is hi in the hospital, bro, wicked. And then you get him when he hits the bomb.
Yeah.
I love that hi. He says
hi.
That's the hi you say after you got in a fight with your girlfriend the night before.
Yeah.
And you still haven't talked, but you made her breakfast and brought it to bed and set it down. Like, hi.
But again, I think
It was
really
really
like
specific.
you said, I think again, I said it to Rudy the other day about both of them. But again, looking at it now, you can't really compare it because it's like comparing the Joaquin Phoenix Joker one. It's like they're completely different styles of movie. They're comic book movies, but it's not really the same as like. They're just not the same. They're not from the same cloth to me. They're in their own lane.
Yeah, they have their own space, and they're both great in their own space.
Yeah.
Sort of asking me what's better. I'm like, they're both great. I mean, if you love one or the other, you're not wrong because they're both great films. I just haven't, like me seeing it 3 times. Like I said, I haven't even gotten there yet. And as who's the better Batman and all that other stuff, that's also subjective. You know, whatever connects to you personally, that's your thing. And again, you're not wrong. That's your opinion. But you know, when it comes to what's better, that's out there, man. I mean, let Batman be out there for more than a week, and let's kind of talk about that a few months.
Well, and like
a year from now or something.
Yeah.
And don't judge people for exactly. Just like the whole then you're blinded by nostalgia. No, I'm blinded by me seeing the same shit in every Batman movie. Like that's what I'm blinded by. But we'll dive into that here in just a second, Derpy. Please, we're not hassling you too hard, but as Seth said, that was a bold statement, so we gotta jump on you there. So let's move on here. Let's dive down the rabbit hole a little bit more. Seth, what are you on the fence about when it comes to the Batman? What are some aspects that you're like, I could have done without it, but didn't really take me out of the movie? Whatever, it's there, but I'm kind of aware of it.
I don't know if I'd describe it like that, but the first thing that comes to my mind when you say on the fence is the Riddler.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, out of the 4 villains, he's probably my least favorite. So it's like
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. My bad.
I was
Wow.
I did not like that opinion, and he's out.
I was confused for a second.
I meant to do this. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I like the serial killer aspect a lot, but I don't know. He didn't feel like the Riddler to me. Like the riddles were kind of easy. Like I'm not saying I solved every single one of them, but I'm saying like I don't know. They just weren't like extravagant riddles. Like I was like
Bruce Wayne here.
I was expecting something to really like stump Batman, but he kind of solved every riddle in like
Yeah, he did.
10 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, that's also no, that's not true. Maybe you need to go see the movie again, I know I do as well. But one thing I did notice is that this Batman was not perfect. He didn't solve riddles just like that. As a matter of fact, he made mistakes. He didn't. I mean, even that scene with Penguin, he's like, it's La Rat, La Rat. Am I the only one that speaks Spanish here? Because that's a mistake that him and Alfred made, and him not catching the last part of the riddle, the whole third act, was something that he missed, and he had to go back and he figured it out, but he figured it out too late. So he did make mistakes.
Okay, fair point. I think I just need to watch it.
But I think I know what you mean when you say the Riddler, because I'm on the fence about the Riddler too. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'll say this though. Once he does get that stupid costume off, and he's like in Arkham.
You talking about the Riddler? Okay.
Yeah, the Riddler. That's when he started feeling more like the Riddler to me. He felt like a crazy person. He's singing. He's screaming like at the top of his lungs in the cell. Like he felt like a crazy person. He felt like more like the Riddler at that point. I'm hoping he doesn't go
agrees
back
with
to
you, because I know you said, Seth, that he reminds you of the Arkham Riddler, and so Derby agrees with you on that as well.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you, and that's kind of what I'm on the fence with him too, is his duality that he has in this movie. I just didn't expect that latter part. I didn't expect once he took his mask off that he wasn't going to be that same guy. I didn't know he's going to be such a recluse, introverted character, and it just really threw me for a loop. The more I think about it, the more I like it. But at the time, I had sticker shock. I was like, okay, now he's singing. Okay, he's singing. All right, good for him.
I can't wait to see it again, man. I really can't wait to see it again.
I know, I'm getting
How
so
many times
excited.
have you seen it? How many
Once.
times? Once.
Yeah, I've only seen
Okay,
it once.
okay, once. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll say this though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just before we move on.
Oh no,
I
please.
I think Paul Dano is perfect casting for the Riddler. I know I said that earlier, but now we're on the topic of specifically the Riddler. Paul Dano did a great job with what he was given. And I don't know if you've ever seen Prisoners, but Paul Dano is really good in that movie too.
Yeah.
So that just made me more excited to see him, and I can't wait to see what they do with the Riddler.
Yeah. Well, and they obviously set it up for him to continue, to come back. And that's one thing I'm really excited for the future of this movie, is what the groundwork it's laying out for us to get this rogues gallery. And as I said before, even though it's such a grounded movie, it's grounded in almost a fantastic way. So I think we're going to get a better comic version of these characters than we think we're going to get.
I'm thinking the same thing. The further you get into the trilogy or just franchise as a whole, you'll probably see Riddler wearing a green suit.
Well, not even aesthetically. That's not even what I'm speaking of. I'm just speaking of characters that we know could possibly come, but how, Mr. Freeze being rumored that he might be in the next movie. How are you going to do a Mr. Freeze in a grounded world and still have it be Mr. Freeze and not just another character with the same name? So I think once they start crossing into that territory and we start seeing these characters becoming more fantastical than we expect from a movie this grounded, I think that's going to be the magic of this film. So,
do you know what? Saying it again, sorry to jump in, but I'm just going to say, I don't know why I'm thinking of this sentence because it's completely out of context. This movie is a grower, not a shower. What I mean by that as well. What I mean by that, right? Listen, is that
you use that line often, do you?
Just shut up, right? Yeah, I walked into that one. Okay.
How did we get here? How did this happen? I don't know.
Welcome to live streams with Ramon, my friend. You got
no. Hang on a second. You said at the start of the stream something about the relationships, heated relationships and heated, who's the one starting? You are, not me. You see that, Seth? He's the one starting. I didn't say nothing about your glasses today. I haven't said nothing. So, growing not a show up. Going back to, again, continuing what Rudy said, he watched the movie and it's the first time he'd seen a movie again and come out and liked it even more. The only time I've ever been like that genuinely when I was a kid was Empire Strikes Back, because I see it so many times. And the other one, I saw Batman versus Superman at the cinema, which I've said to you many times before. I thought it was okay. Then when I got the Ultimate Edition, I watched it over, and I can't even count how many times I've watched it. It's ridiculous. It's actually embarrassing how many times I've watched it. And I do believe that I'm going to get that with this because, as I say, going into it beforehand with so much expectations, I was like, I think I know that I'm going to end up watching more and more. And like I said, I even said in my review, I'm going to come back to my review and say, what was you talking about? I already know that I'm going to do that. And now we're here talking about all those little bits. It's making me want to watch it again. So, you know,
I agree. Like I said at the beginning, there's a lot to unpack in this movie, and movies that have a lot to unpack are the ones that we dive deep into.
And if I can just say, I think this is a good thing. I think with all of us seeing, let's just keep in the genre of comic book movies. We've kind of been giving the same formula for quite some time, and they're all fun movies. They're great, but I love when a movie comes in and it's so different and so outside the box that we don't know how to feel. We're like, wait a minute, this is something totally different. I need to think about this. This is a good thing. This is what I want more of. I want filmmakers to go out there and make, their visions on screen with zero studio interference, because we know how that debacle can end up with shit movies. So I want to see more films like this where I need a few days to think about this before I film a review, because I don't know how I feel, but that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is a good. That's exactly what I did. I sat there and turned my camera on, and I stared at it. I said, I can't do a review today. I cannot do a review today.
It's the same as when I first watched Logan as well, because that was nothing like any other X-Men movie. And it's not as, this isn't obvious. This is it's a much deeper movie. I know that. But what I mean, when I watched Logan, because it was the first like that, I came away from it and I'm thinking, why don't they just make more X-Men movies like this? Like, this would sell. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's the same with this Batman now. If they make it, well, I'm hoping they do the trilogy, because I want more of this going that direction instead of what we've constantly had before.
Well, I think we're in an evolution of filmmaking. I think I think the studios are starting to come around to the fact that we don't have to make movies to make toys anymore, and you can still, and still they're still hurting from that. Hurting, air quotes, but like, this movie, like I think I tagged you on a Facebook thing today, Rudy, because we were talking about the toys, and I saw a commercial for the toys for this movie, and it looks weird. Like, it doesn't look like it should be in a kid's commercial. And so I tagged you in one of the comments. I don't know if you'll ever see it, but so their toy market's not going to be there. They're trying to sell this. They're trying to sell 7 to kids, and it's probably not going to work.
That's
but the box office sales are just great. This is, it got what, 150 million? Is that what the weekend was? 150 mil?
Domestically, I think worldwide it was like 240.
240, worldwide.
You're right though about the toys. What happens when Mummy, Christmas, I want the Riddler outfit? right. He's got that GIMP mask on, and duct tape, like, Oh yeah, don't worry about him for Christmas dinner. He's over there in the corner, just standing watching us.
Mommy, I want a thumb drive. Yeah.
You know what I'm thinking about the toy market? You're right, because in the 90s, that was a big, heavy focus with movies. But now all of us that were kids are now adults with adult money. We're buying the sideshow figurines that are $500. So that's what the toy market's kind of gone to now. Yeah, I'm guilty of that. I got plenty of them back there.
We're grown-ups now. We buy the vinyl of the soundtrack.
Exactly.
But yeah, Star Wars being what started the whole toy market. That's how Lucas got all of his money, because Lucas, essentially the studio didn't pay Lucas at all for the first Star Wars, but he said, well, can I get 100% of the toy money? And they said, sure. And then, well, he's the rest is history, as they say. Real quick, before we move on to Rudy and what he's on the fence about when it comes to this movie, Derp did bring in, I'm gonna start calling you Derp, family friend Derp. Derp did say something here I wanted to dive into a little bit. They announced Arkham Asylum series. If you didn't hear, yes, we heard. It's a spin-off series. I just want to touch base with this a little bit, because it's not just the Arkham series. It's going to be Arkham series, a Penguin series, and a Gotham PD series, GCPD, right?
It's complicated. So there's 2 HBO Max shows that we know of. There's the Penguin series. That's the first one.
Right.
Then there's this one, which
But the GCPD was announced like months ago.
this is the GCPD series.
It is the GCPD.
Actually,
okay.
Matt Reeves earlier today, because I know we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but earlier today, Matt Reeves dove further into what this is exactly. And he's kind of said that the GCPD aspect of this show is canceled. Like this is not.
They
this is
reimagined it.
This has just evolved into an Arkham series instead of a
Oh.
GCPD series. It's not doing the whole year one, thing that they were going to be doing before. So
So does that mean it's not gonna? Sorry, I smell the slight hint of Warner Brother bullshit. I could see the guy. Oh, listen, Matt, I know we weren't going to tell you what to do, but is there any chance we could just turn this into an Arkham thing? That's the only thing we're going to ask, and then it's going to turn into another shit show. Sorry, I got PTSD from Warner Brothers.
you got PTSD from 5 years ago. It's okay.
Yes,
No,
I do.
I'm messing with you.
Why are you trolling me, man? Are they going? Shut the fuck up, Ramon. So are they is this still going to be a prequel? Do we know? Because I know the GCPD was going to be a prequel.
We don't know. I'm going to guess not. In fact, I'll guess that this show is actually going to revolve around Joker. That's just my guess here, but I think that would make sense considering the ending. Maybe not just Joker, but all of like this. This would be a great opportunity to bring in a bunch of different characters.
What I'm hoping they do, one of my favorite shows that was canceled on Netflix is Mindhunters. That's one of my all-time favorite shows. If they actually take that content and that type of tone and investigation piece and get into the psychological profiles of the Batman villains, I'm getting a hard on right now just talking about it. That's what I want, dude. That would be freaking amazing. Can I say hard on your show? I'm so sorry.
That would be like the least offensive thing so far.
Okay,
Yeah.
that would be amazing. Like a rated R, like profile killers, getting into why they became who they are, and then when they go onto the big screen, we know all the exposition and what they bring. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
And I want to bring this up too. I can't remember if you brought this up, but they've said it is going to be like a horror show. That got a round of applause. Cool.
Yeah, it did. It did. If only I had a cheering section here. Hold on. There it is.
All I want it to open. I want it to open with Riddler in his cell at the very, very beginning, and he's just sitting in the corner, and all you can just see is people.
Yep, that would be
All this sort of vibes, bruv. Oh, mate, I'm there for it.
Listen, it sounds like on paper, the way you guys are talking, it sounds good. It really does. But there's a slippery slope that comes with focusing on the characters. And now it happened with the Tim Burton Batman movies, that franchise, and then it happened again in Gotham, the TV series. Once they start diving into the fun part of the characters, they seem to go into this campy space, because it's easy to slip into that space. So if they do this Arkham show and it stays this horror route that they want it, and they keep that integrity, I'm 100% behind it. But we have to look at history here. We have to look at it so you don't try to make the same mistake again, right?
Yes.
So that's hopefully they're keeping their eyes open to that possibility that they might go the campy route if they're not careful. Ramon, is there anything else you wanted to add to your on the fence comments about the Batman?
You're going to do things you don't like after all. Is this part of that? Are you going to do things that we don't like? Or are you going to?
Yes. Things that we don't like. Sorry,
Yeah,
I thought
yeah,
you
no.
were asking me like a deep internal
Oh
question.
no. No.
I was like,
No,
well, as a matter of
no,
fact, I did
Richard,
start
yeah,
admitting
it was-
things I did 13 years
No, I'm
ago.
done.
All right, cool. Rudy, what are you on the fence about when it comes to this film?
You know what? I'm going to make this fast. Nothing. Like I said, there were some concerns that I had after the first showing.
Right.
Those were all just wiped away after the second. And after the third showing, I have no concerns. Now, I get the concerns people have, like the Batman, the portrayal of him. A lot of people need to keep in mind, this is his second year. He's still kind of like a rookie. He's not the
Right.
polished gem that we normally see in the Nolan movie. So that's why I have a problem with comparing them. Like, you can't, because he's still a rookie.
Right, it's a different type of Batman, and that's definitely one aspect that I love about this movie is the mistakes that he makes, because and not just like the mistakes of not figuring out the riddle just fine, but the really big mistakes that he's making with how he's handling, the take on Gotham. He's only fighting the criminals, and he's not being the beacon of hope. This learning lessons of becoming the Batman. I love that, man. Absolutely. Yes. I'm sorry to interrupt, Rudy. I just want to say hi, Kasim. How you doing? We're talking about the Batman spoilers. Let us know what you think about this in the comments below, please. Sorry, Rudy, please continue.
No, again, and if I name anything, it's going to be nitpicking, in my opinion. And I guess for me, I want to say it's the introduction of the Joker. But again, I'm really forcing myself to say that out loud out of my mouth. But because again, I know what we see in this movie is not what we were expecting to see. But at the same time, this is an origin story for everybody. We'll get the Riddler and the Joker that we all are expecting probably in the third movie. But this is an origin arc story, the beginning. So I'll say that, but again, I'm really pulling it from me is the introduction of the Joker, because I know they have a plan with the show and what they have in store for us. But that's what I'll say for right now. But other than that, there's nothing wrong with this movie. And that's what's hard for me. I'm a nitpicker. Something bothers me, but nothing bothers me about this movie.
Well, and it's one of those movies that sometimes you got to wait for the rose-colored glasses to fade a little bit. Like Batman v Superman was one of mine. It took me a while to realize, okay, there are some problems with this movie. But to piggyback off what you're saying, the Joker ending to this, it wasn't bad. It wasn't right. So I didn't look at it and go, oh my God, this ruined the entire movie. I just saw it and I was like, we didn't need that.
Exactly.
That didn't need to be here.
Mm.
It didn't need to be here. Again, like Seth said, I'm on the fence about the Riddler as well, mainly because, as I said, I was sold in the trailers for one Riddler, and then at the end, I got a different Riddler, and I was like, I wish they would have showed me more of the Riddler at the end. Like, I wish he would have been woven better into the story, that there's this duality complex with him. Mm-hmm. This false confidence he has having that mask and hiding behind the phone, and that aspect of him. But when you strip him down to his bare bones, he's almost like a scared child. Yeah. It's very interesting. I wish we would have dove more into that part of his characters, just so when the ending did come, it wasn't such a shock for me. I wasn't like, okay, who the fuck is this guy?
You were just saying about the rose-tinted glasses, and you was waiting for the rose-tinted glasses to fade. I kind of feel like that with my ex, and that's why I dumped her, because when that facade just left, and I realized what I had, I just thought, this isn't good for me, and I just left her.
Yeah, well, good for you, Ramon. It's good to have empowerment, and that's what we're here to talk about on Film Sugar. Everybody, please tell us your love stories. It's better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all.
To lose.
Yeah, rose-colored glasses.
I like that though.
They'll keep you with some doozies. So anyway,
can I throw something out there real quick? Because you've mentioned a couple times that you don't think that Joker scene fits in. You're wondering why it's there. Matt Reeves did a video, or he did an interview a day after the movie came out, explaining why he felt that scene needed to be in the movie, and he said that he feels like that's what completed the Riddler's arc in this movie, was that scene. And he said he was talking, he if you can find the video, maybe I could send it to you, but he really dives into it, explaining why he feels like that completes the Riddler's arc. And he said the movie without that scene just felt incomplete.
Well, I can understand that maybe from a director's perspective, when you have an overall outlining of the story in your head, what this story looked like before it got shot, before it got edited, before it got moved down to 3 hours. You shot 4 hours of footage. You probably have this bigger scheme of things, and that that ending makes sense to you because this project from beginning to end. But to an audience like me and you, Seth, and Rudy, and Ramon, we have to have Matt Reeves tell us, oh, that's Riddler's storyline for full circle. I didn't get that. I didn't pick that up.
Well, that and the that version of the movie tested better with audiences, so that's why they went with it. is because
Bingo. That's it.
it was like I think it was in like November or something, and they were testing it with like.
So there was a
WB
4-hour
executives.
version then.
No, I was just pulling numbers out of
I
my
was
ass.
gonna
or
say-
my-
There is a 4-hour version of this movie.
Yes.
Who knows if we'll ever see that, but
Hopefully on the
I
Blu-ray.
doubt it.
Well,
maybe
Matt
we'll
Reeves
get it.
said there was not going to be another cut of the movie. Like he came out and said that blatantly. Like,
Did he say that?
Yeah, like a week and a half ago, he said that there will not be another cut of this movie. That this is the cut that he wants.
It just hit me what this thing on the website might be. The thing that it's counting or the percentage is going up on.
Yeah,
It just hit me what I think this might be. I think it's, or it could be this deleted scene that Matt Reeves has been talking about quite a bit
I think so too.
with the Joker. He said that there was a scene in the movie that was cut out where Batman went to the Joker and they had a whole like confrontation with each other, you know, like a whole conversation. So I'm thinking that might be what this is. I wouldn't
Yeah.
be surprised.
You know, that would be great. That was something I kind of speculated yesterday when I found out about this thing. I was like, what if this is like more Joker stuff? To me, that's probably the route they're going to go because that's I as much as I want to see something like that because, you know, Joker and stuff. At the same time, I'm just kind of like, what are they? Why are they got to be fishing for us? You know, for stuff like this. We don't need to be fished. You know, we're into the movie. We don't need the Joker to lead us into the next one. You know, I would much rather Joker have just been a character that was quietly in this movie, and then we find out that he's the Joker in the next movie. You know, like or something like that. But I don't know. It's just again that last scene just really threw me for a loop. So,
Yeah.
All right. Let's. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about when it comes on defense? I think Rudy was pretty
I'm
cut
good.
and clear. All right. What do we not like about the Batman? Seth, I know you hate this movie. You walked out of the theater flipping off the theater workers. I was really embarrassed. I had to hide my face. So can you verbalize your anger, please?
You know, I mentioned this a little bit yesterday. I said I would dive into it more today,
Mhm.
and it has to do with the trailers of this movie, and I think it did bring down my experience with it. There's a lot of stuff in the trailers, like the arrest of the Riddler. Why is that in the trailer? Like, not only that, the flooding of Gotham is in the trailer. Like, I don't understand that. Like, why are you putting like the biggest stuff in this trailer? If that was not in the trailer, no hint at all about the flooding of Gotham, my jaw would have been on the floor. I would have been like, no way they just went there. But I knew it was going to
Yeah.
happen. I'd seen it and it wasn't like some, you know, TV spot that only aired on TV that showed it. It was like it was the main trailer that had multiple shots of the flooding of Gotham. And the second trailer opened with the Riddler getting arrested. And it's like, yeah, one could say like, oh, well, of course he's going to get arrested. So it's not really a spoiler because you know it's going to happen. But on the other side, it's like, well, you still want to see it play out for yourself. You know, you still want to see that happen for the first time in the movie. You know,
Yeah.
the example I gave for that was Endgame. It's like, well, of course, you know, everybody who was snapped is going to come back, but they didn't show it in the trailer.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
you save that for the movie, and that's a big comparison. You know, I think the Riddler getting arrested is not on that level, but
Well, not for you, because one thing Matt Reeves has been really trying to push with this film is that it's going to be a very Seven movie, very Seven inspired movie.
Yeah.
which it was. And I think this is just me speculating, not a clue if this was their mindset or not. But like hearing you say that just makes me think, well, maybe they were just trying to like really hit home with that. Like, okay, this is going to be very much like Seven. This is going to be like when John Doe turned himself in Seven, and that's essentially what the Riddler did here. He kind of just led the police to him. But I know you're not that familiar with Seven, so that's maybe why you didn't. You're not that all that familiar with Seven, right?
I've seen Seven.
Or is that like your favorite movie and I'm just an idiot?
It's not my favorite movie. I've seen Seven a few times though.
Oh, well then never mind. I'm talking out of my ass. No, but that's just my guess. That would be my guess of why they showed that. Like, oh yeah, Seven, that one movie that did really well. It's kind of like it. So
I I made a joke about how much they showed in the trailer. I made a joke and said that the trailer for the Batman 2 is going to open with Mr. Freeze's death scene. Because at this point, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, and movies do they these now. Who edits trailers? It's not always the director. There's
Not
companies,
always. Most of the time it is, though. I'm pretty sure Matt Reeves did the trailers for.
okay, because I know they
Yes.
outsource companies a lot for trailers as well. You know, like here's the footage we want in there, make it this theme, and go on.
Yeah.
I don't know if they did that with this or not.
Yeah, I think Matt
Um,
Reeves did this one.
Yeah,
One
the
of the big
trailer
ones.
did not leave too much to the imagination of what we were going to get in this movie.
I know sorry, I know it's a bit. I don't know if you can do it with all movies, but I genuinely think that's why I don't watch a lot of trailers. When I said to you about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because I just didn't want to know. And I don't know if studios would ever do it, but they should just give whoever does the editing, give them the first 15 minutes of the movie or the first 10 minutes of the movie, and go, whatever you're going to do, take it from that. Because the first 10 minutes is cool. It doesn't really matter. It would have had the I Am Vengeance kind of thing. You would have seen a bit of it. You'd have seen whatever, but it wouldn't have given anything away. Trailers now do tend to do that because they're trying to sell these movies, and they will do anything they can, bar showing the very last scene of a death which is a bit frustrating sometimes. Do you know what? Speaking of trailers, we always talk about older movies like Alien. The original Alien trailer, I know we're going off subject, sorry. The original Alien trailer was just a planet, the moon, with a camera going over it with the word alien slowly being typed. That was the entire trailer. There was nothing shown, and it was a brilliant trailer. You don't need to, especially with the Batman, you don't need to do anything to sell it. It's Batman.
Yeah.
It's gonna sell.
And if I can add, that's why I watched for every movie that I really invested in, I watched the teaser, and that's it. I'll do a reaction to the teaser, but after that, I don't watch the second or third trailer. And I've noticed, I think Warner Brothers did this with Batman. I saw them like uploading 2-minute clips of the movie like a week before it's released, and I just stayed away from all that. I don't want to because they're getting a little carried away with that. But I agree, like the trailers, some of them do show a lot, and that's why I avoid them at all costs. I just watch the teaser and that's it.
Yeah. This is something that we've had a lot of dialogue about lately, especially between Seth and I and Ramon and I, because we run a news thing every Sunday where we talk about entertainment news. And I know Ramon and I, at least at the last time we talked about, neither one of us had seen the Doctor Strange trailer, and Seth was dying to talk about it. And like Ramon and I were like, no, I don't want to get the movie ruined. I'm so tired of going into these movies and knowing most of what's going on. But at the same time, it's a double-edged sword because we're doing movie news. Is it our sacrifice to sacrifice our
it's difficult. It's finding a balance
experience, because Seth didn't want to talk about it. I'm sure he's already got all spoilers and he's looked up stuff that he shouldn't be looking up, about the movie. Probably has like deleted scripts and all this because that's how Seth rolls. But like, and Ramon and I are just like, nah, Doctor Who. I don't know who the Doctor is. Sorry.
I used to want to know all the stuff, but at the same time, I don't want to know. For example, I would rather trailers go back to being that simplistic, unless they're concerned about selling the project and it's something that they're really concerned about. I think with a lot of content, especially DC, you don't really need to do a lot to sell a Batman movie or to sell an event, like say the next Avengers or whatever they do. You don't really need to have a 3-minute trailer for an Avengers movie. It's going to sell. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to show everything.
Right. But that sort of thinking is also a slippery slope in the sense of, like, oh, well, having that confidence. Oh, it doesn't matter what we do. It's going to sell. It's going to sell. That's how you get Batman and Robin. But
that was shit though.
Yeah, but how many suits with ties were going? Don't worry about it. It's gonna sell. Just put it out there. We got George Clooney. He's the best.
Did it sell? How much money did that make?
It probably still made the money.
I don't. All I know is that Arnold Schwarzenegger made just a tad less of $1 million per ice pun.
Freeze, good boy.
He made 21 ice puns and got paid $20 million for this movie. So
it was all right. $160 million budget. Oh yeah, no, that's not great. $160 million budget, and it made $238 million. That isn't very
That's
good.
not
Is
good.
that? I bet that budget is not doesn't even include a smidgen of marketing budget. I guarantee.
Exactly.
No.
Yep. Nope.
Guarantee it.
Bet there
All
be a
right,
lot of toy
Seth,
money. Though.
Seth, is there anything else you want to add to your what you do not like about the Batman? Is there anything else you want to pull out of this movie where you're just like, I could have done without this?
No, I don't think so.
All right, Ramon.
Rudy knows where I'm going with this, so
Okay.
you know what I'm going to say, don't you?
I have a feeling, but go ahead.
Right. So there's two things that didn't in any way ruin the movie, but it kind of threw me a little bit. So I'll go with the second one first because I think this might change when I watch it again. The part with the bombs at the end just sort of come out of nowhere. They've caught Riddler, he's away, and it's like, right, well, we've just got to do something. Oh, there's bombs, and they just go off, and I'm like, well, huh? There was no sort of build up. There was no sort of warning. Oh, this is going to happen. So Batman's got to try and do it. He gets there or he doesn't get there, and then it fails. Then it happens. It was just kind of a quick. It cut from sort of he's arrested, bombs are going off. Okay, all right. That I just didn't like that particular section and the way that was handled. The other one was the one I said to you on Facebook about the bomb.
The other bomb.
Yeah, sorry, the other bomb was it a church or was it?
When the DA was strapped.
Yeah, and you said to me that it was nitpicking. It probably is on my part, but just from what I remember of the scene when I watched it, he was trying to save someone, and he was sort of this distance, and then the bombs went off. He gone 30, 40 foot, and he got up, and he's like not even hurt. That was the one thing I was like, I don't get that, because if I know, again, it's probably me nitpicking the point, but I just thought with everything else in the movie being so down to earth and serious, I would have thought something like that would have at least damaged him or cut him up or something. And that's again, that is nitpicking, but they're the only two things in the movie where I'd go, oh, I'm not sure about it, which really ain't that much.
Well,
they're not
fair.
really big. Yeah, they're not really big things.
Fair. I do have two comments on that though. Number one being the end, because I'm with you. That was that whole like second part of the third act was kind of like, huh? You know, like where did this come from?
Yeah.
But I think that was the point, because it was the riddle that was missed. It was the clue we looked over and Batman looked over. So like we got the shock just as Batman did, you know?
Right.
But I don't know if that it seems like that didn't translate very well with some of us, like me included. The other thing, and I did notice it when it happened in the movie when the bomb went off and he went flying back and he got up like, that kind of stung.
I would have thought he would have been like pretty messed up or something. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I see that, and I raise you another scene where he murdered Penguin. You know, in the chase
I already know exactly what you're talking about.
In the chase scene where like he flipped Penguin's car like 50 times, no one's gonna survive that. Nobody's gonna survive that. So there's parts in this movie where, even as I said, this movie's so grounded, it's fantastic. That's what I'm going with here, because there's certain times you just have to be like, okay, this is a fucking Batman film. Suspension of disbelief. You know, the Penguin should be dead, but he's not. Batman didn't know. He walked up that car. Penguin's going to be dead or alive. He didn't care. You know, he's just like, okay, all right.
No, I was just expecting Rudy to go, no, you missed it. You missed it in all the action. The camera goes out and then he flicks out and he's got like a metal cape shield and then he blocks it. And then, okay, that's what I missed it.
Well, then, yeah, exactly. So in the church, he had, bat nano face protectant. That's. You know, he had face protect. That's why his face didn't get burnt when the DA's bomb went off.
I don't know if it matters, but he does this and it covers his face. I don't know if that matters in any way to this conversation, but
did he do that then?
He did that. Yeah, it's just
he does do that.
Show him do it.
At least that's something. Something.
You guys are saying that he just got up and brush it off. Wasn't he like?
He was unconscious for a while.
He was unconscious for a while, didn't he? Yeah. He got taken to the. Was it the police station?
Yeah, he got taken to the police station.
Yeah, he was out for hours probably. They were trying to take his mask off.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well,
didn't
no,
just get up and-
they didn't try to take his mask off at all, did they? Rudy, 3 times.
There's a
Yeah, they did.
real quick. They go, I want to see who he looks like, and they start with,
Yeah,
with his
yeah.
mask, and then that's when he wakes up, and
Yeah,
the whole scene starts.
I'm sure Gordon would have put an end to that. I'm sure
Yeah.
Gordon probably was putting an end to that like multiple times before we got, put into that scene.
But I've got to say though, like as a final things for things I don't like, I think it's more a case like Rudy said. I think we'll watch movies, and because we do reviews and we do reactions and stuff like that, we're in the mindset of nitpicking at every single thing.
Yeah.
So to me, those were just the two things. It took me out for a second because I was like, huh? But then I was just like, oh, whatever. And then I just carried on watching the film and enjoyed the film. It didn't like stop me in my tracks. Like in some movies, they throw something, like if Batman would have flipping grown a unicorn horns and like Pegasus and started flying, I would have been like, nah, I'm out. But it wasn't like that. Kind of like Star Wars, Princess Leia turning into Mary Poppins. Like I was like, no.
Bane breaking Batman's back and then just slapping him in the back, and there's your back. It's fixed. You can walk again.
Yeah, it's the magic of
go.
modern medicine.
Yeah.
It didn't sort of. And again, I'll add that I just think that's why I keep stressing that. I think when I watch it again, it'll just probably be because I won't be thinking about it. It won't be a. But just because it's that initial first watch, you're kind of like you're waiting for something, and you're like maybe this, maybe that, and that was just all I could grasp on, and it's a nothing, to be honest. That's
right.
it. It's still brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll wait for my piece.
Okay.
Mr. Rudy, sir, I know you had slim pickings on your what you're on the fence about, but is there anything you can derive that you did not like from this movie? Is there something that didn't hit you right?
Too many previews and trailers before the movie started. That's what I don't like.
Marketing. The marketing is what you didn't like about the movie. Okay.
No, to be serious, like I said, I've seen it 3 times, and like I don't want to come off like a fanboy. I do like DC, but I love comic book movies in general. You should have seen me when Logan came out. I was just all over Logan's nuts. I was just Logan.
I am going to screen capture that.
That's a classic.
That's going to be it. That's going to be the promotion.
Make it a gift. Make it a gift. So with the Batman, I cannot find anything. That's the peculiar thing. I'm usually very critical when it comes to after a third time. Oh, I didn't catch that. Oh, I missed that. No, it's a movie, because if you think about all the critiques we've seen from other Rotten Tomato critics and all our colleagues and other brothers and sisters out there, and if you look at what the Academy nominates for Oscars, when you think about set design, cinematography, directing, acting, supporting actors, sound design, everything, this movie is an A+ for me in every one of those categories. I can't think of anything. Casting, the acting. When you watch the movie again, you're going to see, like, I have it up here, like the acting is flawless from even the most minute role. There's this guy called Chief McKenzie, where after the commissioner dies, he's got this voice. You're going to put your head on the life of this guy. Everybody.
Oh yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Even Peter McDonald, who's Kenzie, when he's tied up on the chair, he's like, Falcone's been the man for 20 years. Everyone's so fucking good, man.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything bad. So when I hear critiques like, it was too long, fuck you.
Right.
Ten Commandments was like 5 hours long, and it was a masterpiece. Those are the type of movies I grew up on. The Right Stuff, Chariots of Fire, those movies that are like 8 hours long.
Right.
So like, if you say it's too long, that's not really.
Nah.
If you say it's dark, well, didn't you see the trailers?
Right.
Batman didn't smile.
He's called the Dark Knight.
Exactly.
He's Batman.
Exactly. So when I hear critiques like that, I just kind of like that vein comes out of my head, and I'm like, okay, just walk away, Rudy. Don't leave a comment. Just walk away. That's what I'm gonna do. So you see, I gotta let me rub that out. So I truthfully can't think of anything wrong with it, and I can't wait for everybody here to see it twice, maybe a third time, because I really think when you see it that second time, you're gonna be like, oh my god, it's actually better. Maybe the opposite. I don't know, but for me, that second time seeing it, it was such a beautiful experience. It seriously was, especially that third act, which I was kind of hesitant at first, but seeing it again, oh my god, goosebumps, and almost got me teary.
So kind of what you're, if I'm picking this apart right, so your second viewing made that third act better for you. Do you think that's because you knew it was coming? You weren't surprised, like Ramon said, he didn't see it coming, so it kind of like stuck out to him. But if you knew it was coming, is that what makes it better? A better rewatch?
The clue to the third act reveal is thrown at us on the screen in the first 2 seconds.
Brilliant. Okay,
flies right in front of the screen. So like, oh, there's the final piece to the final puzzle. So you kind of see things
You
differently.
see things differently. Yeah. Okay. That's
good. That's
good.
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 Do you know what? Do you mind
yeah.
if I just throw this at Rudy as well? This is
Sure.
the most bizarre thing, right? Like as Steve said, I'm the one with the big mouth that always gets myself in trouble. I just do. And I normally pick apart things like a lot. And I said to him before the stream, there's a couple of channels that have picked up on something that I could not for the life. I know I don't want to go too far into it, but they were saying that they weren't keen on the movie because this again, critics, because all of the white people in it were portrayed as good, as evil, and all the black people were portrayed as good. And I was just like, with the way people go now, I think it's justified if you pick things apart, but I do not understand where some of these critics come from. Like you said on Rotten Tomatoes, some of the things they're coming out with is beyond. Like when you said it's too dark, it's Batman. It's supposed to be dark, and but you know what I mean. I don't understand it. Like I can understand if you go too far the other way. If Batman is, I don't know, it turns into a unicorn or something. You go, what? Like it doesn't make sense. But I think with this movie, it's definitely divided people, because I've noticed that with all the critics and stuff, that some of the people I thought would love it have come out and said some crazy bonkers stuff.
Yeah.
But I think the general consensus is, even though I've got a few pickings with it, I would still rather them make the next 10 movies, DC movies, in this area. I'd still rather them try and do it this way, because we're getting something different. So,
well, number one, you're speaking on critics that are have that excuse me, that have like a woke narrative. See that right there. Don't give too much thought into that, because that's why they're writing that piece. They're writing that piece. Like, oh man, how many?
The clicks and retweets. That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
that's what they're looking for. Oh, like there's all the white people are the good guy, or the white people are the bad guys, and the people of color are the good guys. And that's not necessarily true. As I told you about backstage, Ramon, there are bad guys and white guys that mix those roles. That's just somebody trying to play into a narrative just to get clicks and retweets.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. But jumping on what you guys are saying about people saying it's too dark, these are the same Karens that came out in fucking 1990 that said the goddamn Ninja Turtles were too violent by using their weapons. Let's not listen to these people anymore. We need Ninja Turtles to use their weapons. God.
Do you know, I love how that film looks.
You, Ramon, you live in the UK where they were called Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles because Ninja was too violent.
Yeah.
Is that true? I had no idea. Wow.
Yeah, Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. I always thought that's what they were called when the movie came out, and I was like, why have they changed it to Ninja? Yeah, thanks guys.
It's not us. It's not. It's y'all, man.
Yeah.
And if I can just add to that point, I've seen some people, like even people message me, hey, is it woke? Like people are saying, I'm like, no, whoever said that is an idiot. No, there's one line in it, but if you look at the context of the movie and who's saying it, it makes sense. But it's not like an entirely Last Jedi, something that's totally over and thrown in our face.
That's what I mean. It's okay if you're talking about the line by Catwoman.
Yes, that one line.
I can't even remember what she said. It was something about white privilege or something like that, wasn't it? I can't remember.
The renewal package was benefiting like the privileged white men. Folks.
Yeah. I mean,
I did notice that.
I think I probably noticed it, but that's what I'm saying. I normally zone in on stuff like that, and I would go on the video and go, "What the?" I would have normally done that, but I don't mind it in movies if movies to be for everyone. So if they throw in a line and you go, cool, all right, I don't listen to whatever, cool, it goes over my head. So I don't understand. It's like you say, I think people kind of nitpick because that's their foundation of what they do as critics or as channels. So they see one thing and they've got to go, right, I'm going to hold on to that and make it a big deal. To me, I was watching it. Do you know what? I didn't even notice, man, until seeing these reviews and people afterwards. I was like, I didn't see none of that. It didn't even occur to me.
Yeah.
Didn't even occur to me, but it's
Well,
bizarre.
leave it to rich white critics to complain about a line saying "rich white folks." Imagine that. Speaking of nitpicking, Sam Moore has a comment here. It says, "First time in maybe 7-8 years, I thought to myself, a movie is a 10 out of 10. Talking about bad critics, I legit saw a bad review that said Pattinson's jaw was distracting to the plot. It took them out of it." It was like it took like a good thing, like it was like, oh my god, that jaw, or was it like, oh my god, that jaw?
but like I said, everything that the Academy nominates, and I haven't seen one bad review where they said the acting was bad, the story was bad, or anything. They don't touch the critical items that make a great movie. They're going off tone and what they've known in the past for a comic book movie to be, which is a horrible thing if you really look at it. Yeah. And that's the same thing Man of Steel was getting, and the same thing, you know, all these other movies get. Oh, it's too dark. The Joker got the same thing, so it's like, come on.
Oh, it's so weird that when you get movies that come out and actually speak to people on a moral level, it's amazing how people turn on movies like that, like Joker. You know, having you look at society as the bully. You know, society itself is what's creating people like Joker, and what happens? Movie theaters weren't showing it. They came out with this entirely fictitious thing that somebody was going to go shoot up a theater because that happened years ago. You know, like, oh no, Joker movie, we're not going to show it in our theater out of, you know, respect of what happened when Dark Knight, the Dark Knight or Dark Knight Rises, I forget which one got shot up. When that happened, they're well, we're not going to play this movie in respect to that. That's playing into a fear narrative that doesn't make sense. It's taking a small entertaining part of a movie that makes you question your own morality, yourself, and society, and it completely distracts you from that and gets you playing into whatever narrative they want you to play into. Does that make sense, or am I rambling?
Yeah.
I have a tendency to ramble.
And to add to your point, I have a conspiracy theory, because the first time I heard that, the Joker is not going to be shown in theaters because the FBI is fearing, you know, retaliation, was on ABC News, and ABC News is owned by Disney. And I was thinking, maybe would I put it past Disney to put all these stories out there to just have people not go see the Joker because it's kind of like a competitor to their product? I'm like, would I put it past them? No, that mouse is evil. Anyway,
dude, tell me about. I think that mouse is 100% responsible for everything that happened with Snyder. Like, I really do. I think there's some behind the scenes, hand over fist deals going on. That's a whole different video.
That's a rabbit hole.
Yes, it is, especially on this fucking channel. Real quick, Ramon. Christopher Mustad says it would be awesome to see William Dafoe play the Joker in a sequel to this.
Well, I got some news for you.
Well,
I got some bad news for you.
Yeah, have you not seen the movie, Mustad? First of all, good to see you, Christopher. Thank you, man. Hit me up sometime. I need you to do another guitar solo for another video for me.
Oh, that's okay. I know.
He did the Terminator opening.
That was cool
for one of our videos once. Well, sorry. Yeah, Dafoe will not be playing Joker because he was already cast. He shows up at the end of the movie. But William Dafoe being the Joker has always been a fan favorite. God, I keep saying William. Fucking God.
Yeah. Well, don't.
I saw a video of him pronouncing his own name, and it kind of threw me off. He pronounced it William Dafoe, and I was like,
I've seen that.
I was like,
that
I'm
bastard.
done.
Okay.
I was like, this video is from like the 70s too. It was like one of his first auditions, and they were like, "What's your name?" He was like, "William Dafoe," and I was like, "Excuse me?" Like, I was like, "What?"
Yeah, that's like Lindsay Lohan and Denzel Washington. Yeah, they've come out. They've come out in the past few weeks saying that's how their names are pronounced. So, whatever. No. Sorry, Denzel. Your career. You're like 40 years late on that demand.
One thing I want to chuck in. It's kind of. I'm going to say this as a fan of cinema in general. I think a movie like this, you can kind of blame the person, the spectator, for the way they watch these movies as well. And I blame myself for this. Someone put a post up the other day and said, view this movie the same way you would watch a movie like Blade Runner or Dune, because those movies are slow paced. Take it in.
Yes.
I watched this in the frame of Batman versus Superman. I watched it with that mindset. So because I went in there expecting, I'm not expecting it necessarily, but with that mindset, my brain wasn't really prepared for that sort of movie. I think I'll watch it in that, knowing that it's the spectacle of watching what's going on in the city, everything that's going to take it all in. And I think I'll appreciate it on a different level to what I did when I first watched it. I think that's my own ignorance when I went to watch it. I think that's
you definitely got to go into this movie just letting it be its own thing. You know? You definitely have to let it be its own thing, and that's hard. And I'm glad you brought that up, Ramon, because that's I'm going to piggyback off that and talk about what I didn't like about this movie, or what it's still on what I don't like, but it'll make sense. It's because I went into this movie with I wasn't too high on my hopes, but I had moderate hopes for this because this movie was marketed to me. You know, it's a grunge themed movie whose Batman is based on Kurt Cobain. You know, like I'm a grunge head, man. Like this, I'm a grunge head musician. I love The Crow. I love Seven, and I saw all those aesthetics in this film, especially in the trailers. And when I went into it, I enjoyed the movie. The movie itself, I gave an A+ in my review. Like even like leaving the theater, you know, that was an A movie. You know, like it was 3 hours long. I never noticed the runtime. It kept my interest. It looked great. I loved the movie, except for one major thing, and that was the fact that I'd seen everything before. I've seen this movie before, and it's not the movie's fault. And I didn't realize that when I first walked out of the theater, but it was in my head. I'm like, I've seen this, and this is the first. I think the first time I'm able to talk about the specifics of it, but like Seth, the one scene where Pattinson's Batman is like up in the corner hiding in like the shadow, that was straight up out of Batman v Superman. I saw that in Batman v Superman.
I mean, Batman doing a Batman thing is
but I've never seen that cinematically. I've never seen that cinematically in any other movie. That BVS, a Batman hiding like in the corner, just like crouched up like that. It's the first time I've seen that, and now I see it in this movie. But you make a good point. Batman doing Batman things. That's where I've discovered my fatigue is. It's because these directors are taking from the same source material. It's all coming from year one Batman. It's all coming from, the Dark Knight Returns Batman comic series. And I'm starting to notice the regurgitation of these stories being told, which is okay, but I don't know. As I said, it ruined my experience. The movie's good, but then I'm so excited to go see this movie again, because when I do, I'm going to be aware to lift that lens. And for anybody who hasn't seen it, don't be watching our spoiler talk, number one. Number two, I do recommend, if you did walk out of the theater feeling, the same that I did, just not, it didn't quite hit you right. Maybe go back, rewatch it, and take that lens off of like, I've seen this before. Because I did. And did you guys recognize anything like that, where you were watching this movie and you're like, okay, I've seen Batman say this before. I've seen this sort of integrity, or I've seen this sort of shot. There
were things like the comparisons with Seven, and certain parts where I was like, yeah, this really does feel like Seven. But do you know what? Maybe again, it might be my. I don't know what the right word is, but I say this a lot to you, like with remakes, sequels, and all of this sort of stuff that's always happening in the cinema, like more and more now, that I think we get so much crap at the cinema in general. It's it's only really 3 or 4 films each year that come out and we go, I'm going to watch that all the time. I'm always going to watch that.
Yeah.
So I kind of let it go in movies like this. I did pick up on things like the Seven comparisons and all that. But I just wish that this was the standard level of modern cinema, that all movies had to hit this standard, because everything else now that will come out this year, it will just be, there'll be films that come out and you'll be, yeah, it's a good film, but that you can tell that they didn't put in like that kind of effort. Like you can see in like when you watch Dune, when you those kind of movies, you can see the bloody work that they've put into the film. You don't get that with a lot of cinema. So when there's a lot of things like that, where you say similarities, I kind of let it go, because it still levels above of what I'm normally seeing. If that makes any sort of sense.
No, it did make sense, and I think a lot of my fatigue came from specifically seeing this grounded version of Batman. We got Nolan, trilogy for that. you know, and people are like, oh no, this is a grounded Batman. I'm like, yeah, I know, I've seen it before. You know, like I want that as I said 100 times, I want that Batman that's in outer space fighting aliens and interdimensional beings, you know, and we had that, and this was supposed to be his movie, and that's what was in my head the whole time.
Yeah.
But now we're back to we're gonna get that fantastical Batman, but it's gonna be exit Ben Affleck and enter Michael Keaton again for some weird movie magic way. And I don't know, like I'm just torn as a DC fan right now. Like this movie, it's so good, but for me, it just did not come out at the right time. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid for me almost. You know, it's like letting this movie coming out is saying to me, it's gonna happen. We're moving on. Ben Affleck's done. Henry Cavill, we'll see. You know, like that's what this movie is for me. It's my favorite part of this franchise is drowning. It's dying, and I'm watching it die. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you being here for my support.
Can I bring up this comment here? This one.
Please.
It says, I just joined, so not sure if you spoke about it, but I've seen fan castings for Robin in this universe. Seen Dylan O'Brien as a big name. What are you guys' fan casting for Robin of this universe? I want to throw two things out here. Dylan O'Brien is 30, so I highly doubt we'll see him play Robin in this universe, but there's a but to this. He is heavily rumored to be playing Nightwing in the Batgirl movie. So you're half onto something here.
I forgot.
He's 30?
Dylan O'Brien?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm going to bring up his photo here. That's him?
Yep, that's him.
That's a very young. He can play a Spider-Man. like all the other 30-year-old Spider-Man teenagers.
He's rumored to be playing Nightwing in the Batgirl movie. But I think if they did a Robin in this Batman universe, which they're going to, let's be honest here, down the line we're going to get a Robin. He's going to be a kid though. Like,
oh yeah. He's
going to be probably, I'm going to guess no older than 16 years old. Maybe even younger than that.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Seth, and thank you for catching that comment. And Sam, thank you for bringing that in, because that does bring up a conversation that something that I did want to talk about, but I forgot I wanted to talk about it. So thank you. This is the first Batman movie that made me realize that like Robin could be an actual character that shows up organically in this universe, and a lot of that has to do with his relationship with that kid who's I forget what character his father was.
The mayor's son.
I know exactly.
Who the mayor. About, though. Yeah, that's right. He was the mayor. The mayor's kid. You know, that connection that he made. It's even in the trailer. That long pause where he stares at him. This is like the sort of empathic thing that I could see this Bruce Wayne, like why he would bring in a troubled teenager. But like I was thinking more about this, like how. Okay, we live in like 2021 or 2022 now. You know, how are we going to have Batman bring in, you know, like a 12-year-old boy and like start teaching him to hurt people without it, you know, being attacked completely? And I was thinking about this all day at work. And I thought, what if they brought in, you know, this kid, he lost both of his parents, just like Batman did. So he's so empathetic, and Bruce Wayne adopts this kid, brings him in to try to give him a good life. This is fan theory, my theory of how I want this Robin to work out. So this kid starts acting out and starts going out and getting mixed up in the wrong crowds and starts doing the bad things and getting in a lot of trouble. And Batman uses that to like, hey, you're messing up. We got to spin this around, you know, and then retrain him, but also use him as almost like I don't want to say snitch, you know, but like, you know, he's got him infiltrated out there with the bad people. But like he's like a spy, if you will. And that was just my theory of how a Robin could work. But I do think a Robin could work, and I do not think a 30-year-old should play him. I would really like to see.
I think
a young, like literally, you say 16, Seth. That's probably what they would go for. But I would like this, like a Miles Morales age. You know, maybe like 14, 13. You know?
Yeah, I do want a Robin in this universe. It's been a long time since we've got a live action Robin. I am not counting The Dark Knight Rises.
That was a nod. That wasn't a carrot. Yeah. Yeah.
But I am really curious to see what they would do with a Robin. And I know this.
Sorry, I was just looking at actors around that age as well, like young teenage actors, and I'm thinking, but I don't think he'd be right for the role. And I like him, Finn Wolfhard. I like him, but I don't think he would be good for. You know what I mean? Like I like him, but I don't.
He's Stranger Things, right?
Yeah,
Ghostbuster.
Some of the kids in that. I think the other kid, his name's Noah Schnapp, who was in it. He was the one who was taken over by the monster. I think he would be cool, but I don't know. Again, like for that age, it's difficult, isn't it? Because you don't really see many young, outstanding. I don't know.
Right.
Well, I would like them. I will trust Matt Reeves and the crew to pick. Because they're going to pick somebody that I never even thought about, and it's going to be awesome because that's what this movie did. They picked a whole bunch of people that I never would have. You gave me 100 guesses, I probably wouldn't have picked any of these people to play these roles. And they
Zac Efron.
Yeah. as Robin. Yes.
You know what's funny is everybody. I've seen a bunch of people online say this, like, "Oh, Finn Wolfhard, you want to get a 15-year-old to play Robin." Finn Wolfhard is turning 20 this year. I don't think people realize that. Like,
right? Yeah, he's turning 20. Yeah, well, because we live in a world where like our favorite TV shows take 5 years for the next season to come out. So, when we got introduced to Finn Wolfhard, like 2 seasons ago, he was like 10, but now he's 20. So, Finn Wolfhard, I don't know. Is he?
I like him, but I like him, but I wouldn't have him as Robin. I do like him.
He's too much of a face, right?
Yeah, he was in Ghostbusters.
Yeah, he's very tall and noodly. Like,
yep, I don't see him as Robin.
He'd be a good Scarecrow.
Maybe.
I'm just looking at tall noodly. Anyway, all right, tall and noodly. That's the line of the week.
I want Robin to get his own HBO Max show. I'm really jumping ahead with that, but like, I want Robin to get his own HBO Max show because I've always liked the character of Robin a lot. Why? I don't know. I just have. He's just always intrigued me. Mostly because there's so many different versions of Robin.
Yeah.
You have Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, and they all become their own versions. Like they all become Nightwing, Red Hood, Red Robin. Like I don't know. It's just really intriguing to me.
Yeah. Well,
Damian Wayne.
This world that Matt Reeves has set up to me has set up a world where bringing in a Robin won't be so ridiculous. You cannot bring a comic book accurate Robin into the cinematic world very easily. So I think just a few tweaks here and there of how they bring him in. But I do this version did give me faith that they could do that. Now there's one thing. Did anybody else notice the Martha Wayne Arkham connection?
Like as far as the reveal from the Riddler's plan and backstory,
nobody's talking about it. Like I've watched so many things, no one's brought that up. I just thought that was a really cool connection.
I agree.
But all right, well, anyway, is there anything else you guys want to say about this film? What you liked, didn't like, or just overall generalities of how you feel going forward with this franchise?
I mean, like the wrap up, like
sure, wrap up or whatever. Yeah,
let me gather my thoughts. But go ahead, Seth. I don't want to cut you off.
I was just gonna ask a quick question, but if you guys want to give your quick wrap up thoughts first,
go ahead.
Okay, I was just gonna say, like, who would you want to be the villain of a sequel? Like if you could choose anybody from Batman's Rogues Gallery, like who would you choose? Would you just go with Mr. Freeze, or would you go more out there with it?
Again, there's a lot of things I noticed the third time I saw it, like the reporter who was going to that Falcone killed for Thomas Wayne. His last name is Elliot, and I saw through some like Easter eggs that he was the father of Hush, the serial killer. So I think that's probably going to be the villain for the next one. There's also like the scene right before the funeral starts. Bruce Wayne's walking through the funeral, and this guy saying that renewal project's full of crap. My daughter needed it and she died. And he looks at Bruce Wayne and goes, "Don't I know you?" And there's like this long connection or long scene where they're looking at each other. I don't know if that's another like a route for another villain. I don't know, but I don't know. But I think it's probably going to be Hush. And from what I've seen,
that would make the most sense.
Yeah, and what I've seen with Matt Reeves, I'm thinking he said he wants all the villains to be in these films. So I don't know if there's going to be a main villain or maybe a team of villains, but I think logically Hush is going to be the next one, which would be pretty badass.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I really thought this was going to be a Hush story. I really did. I really thought that's where they were going. Hot Roasted Steam. I like that name. Do you think at any point Batman will break his no-kill rule in this universe? Does he have a no-kill rule in this universe?
I think
Did
he
he-
killed a couple.
Oh,
of people.
I was about to say, didn't he kill like
Really?
9 people?
He
Yeah.
doesn't kill people in this movie, I don't believe. I will say this: there is the highway scene, which is some
yeah, I know-
reckless driving.
Right. He
But-
didn't try to not kill Penguin. I'll put it that way.
Yeah,
So-
I'll say, but like with the highway scene, people are like, "Oh, there's all these cars exploding. Batman killed people." It's like, no, like was he a little reckless? Yes, but technically, Penguin is the person that made those cars explode.
Yeah,
Batman isn't. Like Batman, I think they went out of their way more than any other movie has to make sure that Batman does not kill in this movie, and I think they're going to continue to do that throughout the rest of the franchise.
Rudy, did you say you think he killed a couple of people?
there were a couple scenes where like he disarmed people, and the people that he was disarming kind of like shot and they killed people behind him. I don't know if that's necessarily a kill, but I have to see it again. I wasn't looking at that. I was just too caught up with everything else. But I think he made it, inadvertently, not I mean, and in self-defense as well. I think he
Right.
did a couple people. I think he has a no guns rule in this versus a no kill rule.
Yeah, the no guns thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was where Gordon used the same line that Catwoman used in Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
The no guns rule. Not for me.
Yeah.
Hold on. We'll get to.
Oh. Sorry,
Yeah,
I brought up that comment. Did you bring up a different comment?
I was going to bring up Chris.
Okay, yeah, you can bring up his
Yeah,
comment in the moment.
Says Deathstroke is definitely on my wish list for a future live action Batman villain. Yes, and that was supposed to be the villain in Ben Affleck's script.
I don't want it.
You don't want what?
I want them to save Deathstroke, not for a Batman movie. I have no interest personally in seeing Deathstroke be the villain of a Batman movie. I want to see them use Deathstroke in a Nightwing movie, which we will probably get inevitably. So I don't know. I've always associated Deathstroke as more of like a Teen Titans or Nightwing villain, way more than I've ever associated him as a Batman villain.
Right, but it's the movie's job to make us think, differently. Like I don't know. I'm just defending Chris because I was really wanting that in the Ben Affleck one. But let's see here. Hot Roasted Steam says he's a bit careless, but I don't think he directly kills unless I miss something. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure.
Like
I'm
he
exactly
does
sure
not
he does.
like. I think the extent of it, like I said, is on the highway, Penguin blew those cars up. He could have kind of stopped it if he wanted to, but he didn't. But he still didn't kill those people.
Right.
And
Well,
like
the
people pointing guns at him, he'll move out of the way, and then that person will shoot the person that was standing behind him. He is not doing the killing. So technically, no, he does not kill anybody.
All
in
right.
this.
Fair enough. I'll
Mhm.
keep that open-minded when I go watch this movie again. Seth, final thoughts overall of this movie? Just wrap up your opinion real quick. And
I mean, I liked it a lot. The more I think about it, the more I like it. And I'm sure once I get to rewatch it, I will like it even more than I already
yeah,
do.
and it's on HBO Max, and
just a
little-
couple weeks, just a few weeks. I think it's
let's-
April. It'll be
Yeah,
on.
14th or something like that. Mhm.
Yeah.
all right. Ramon, your overall thoughts of the movie, sir? Like, what do you think? Are you excited for the future of it?
Yeah, definitely. I would like some more. Definitely. Can't wait to watch it again. I'd probably give it an 8 or 9 out of 10. If you've not seen it and you're watching this, you shouldn't be watching it, but you should see it at the theater. It's a really good movie. In terms of what I'd want to see in a sequel, Freeze is a great idea because it just is. I'd go a bit stupid and I'd want someone in it that you could have as kind of a killer, which he was in the comics. I'd have Calendar Man, or I would have,
I would
I
love
agree
to
with
see
Calendar
Calendar Man.
because
he-
Calendar Man's like a.
I loved him in the Arkham games, like,
Because
it's
it would
like its
it would it
concept.
would fit in that kind of thing of being like another kind of killer that he's trying to catch. Or who was the other one? I don't know if they could introduce someone like Azrael or someone like that.
That'd be cool.
But
That'd
You
be
know
a big
what,
jump for the second movie.
yeah,
Right.
that's what.
Wasn't
It's too-
Azrael
it's too much. That's what I mean.
wasn't Azrael introduced to kind of like step in, or not introduced, but like wasn't his main thing like to step in for Batman after
Yeah.
That's
Bane
what,
broke
yeah,
his
in the end,
back?
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a. No, I'm not even going to say it because it's just me being stupid. I was going to say I'd love Weasel to show up.
Oh, Weasel.
That'd be fucking
Grounded weasel.
Just in the background.
I'm telling you, I'm still waiting for it because Weasel. Well, he doesn't exist in this universe, but I'm waiting for the Weasel to show up in a Peacemaker or something.
But no, sorry, but I'd say Calendar Man because I know he's a bit similar in the form of what we've just seen with Riddler, because he would be a killer and it would be that sort of thing. But then that would still keep that detective vibe that it's got. It's this guy going around leaving calendars, dates, and you're like, what's this all about? And it would just be a good that sort of thing. It could be a serial killer, whatever he tries. But I don't know. That would I'd like something dark again like this.
Yeah, Calendar Man and Zaz together would be a good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's another
Zaz would be cool.
Rudy, Vengeance, sir. Overall, your thoughts on this movie? You've seen it 3 times.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. And I know I kind of hate myself because I know how I'm going to sound, but I've been very vocal on Twitter and, amongst my circle about after the second showing and especially after the third. I don't use this word often, but it is a cinematic masterpiece. It really is. I love what it's a testimony to what a filmmaker can do when studios don't intervene. You get something that just stands out and is outside of the mold. I just like Richard Donner did before. I truly believe that Matt Reeves has really created a new standard and a new template for others to follow. I mean, there's been a proven formula with the MCU, and they're doing great. I'm not bashing them, but there's been a formula we've seen constantly over and over again. You mentioned earlier, Stevie, like, hey, I've seen this before. I remember thinking the same thing after Avengers 2. I've seen this before. And now that we have something different, and it's cinema. I mean, from the cinematography, from the story, the score, it's a beautiful romantic film in a sense, especially the romance with the Catwoman and the bat at the end. It's one of the most endearing endings, in my opinion, for a superhero movie that I don't think I've ever seen. So it's a new standard. The bar has been set, and I cannot wait to see more films like this. I hope other filmmakers and maybe the MCU will say, hey, let's get into the rated R market. Let's make it a graphic novel in the MCU. Please. I want to see more than just the jokes every other second and the world's ending. Well, how about some Sharma? I don't want to see more of that shit. I want to see more adult cinematic films like this in the hands of a true filmmaker. I hope it sets a new trend.
You know what I would love to see Marvel do? And, because DC is really exploring the idea of like, we have our main cinematic universe, but we're also doing multiple movies in their own standalone universes. I would love to see Marvel do that with a Wolverine movie.
Yes.
Like a Wolverine movie outside the MCU, standalone universe kind of thing. Like, I'd love to see that. Like R-rated.
Spider, Carnage. There's so much that they can explore, man.
Yeah, there's a lot.
That. Yes. Absolutely.
I hear you, Rudy. I do. I hear you. But like the thing with me is I hear the words, what you're saying, they really, set a standard, I don't want the copy and paste template. I want a true dark grit story, but we had that. we had that in a way that we never seen before, with Batman v Superman leading into Justice League. We had this original take, this original concept, and when that went away, this came back with something that we have already literally seen before. That's my main issue right now, is this. I'm still dealing with it, but if you guys can't tell, like, I'm psyching myself out. I'm convincing myself that this movie is so grounded that it's fantastical, that so that maybe there's some hope we can get some not so grounded villains in the future. Because I'm tired of seeing those villains. I really am. Listen, Heath Ledger's Joker was amazing. Joaquin Phoenix Joker was amazing. But okay, now give me a Joker that's out of this fucking world and not like somebody that could be my next door neighbor. You know what I mean? Like I want to see that sort of villain, show up in movies like this, especially in a movie that's, a hard PG-13 and a gritty, almost horror-esque type of style film. I would love to see, Calendar Man and Zaz in that sort of setting, but I don't know. That's basically my point is like, I hear what you're saying, but we kind of already had that. Warner Brothers said, no, fuck that. Here's this. And now we're praising Warner Brothers for letting artists make movies that they want. Like, this should have been happening before. That should be the standard that you stick to. Sorry. Go ahead, Seth. I can see you boiling over there.
The thing is though, is that you're saying like, oh, we've gotten this grounded Batman before, and I completely get what you're saying. I agree with you, but like, I think what this franchise is trying to do is something that we aren't even close to reaching yet. This franchise wants to be the definitive live action Batman story. Not just this movie, but as this franchise goes on, we're going to get multiple HBO Max shows. I wouldn't be surprised if we get multiple trilogies of Batman in this universe. You're going to get your Robin, you're going to get your Batgirl, you're going to get Nightwing. I'm assuming that's the route they're going to want to go, because we've never gotten like that before in a live
the whole
action
Rogues
universe.
Gallery, the whole Rogues Gallery aspect. Yeah, and I see that.
I think that's what they're building up to,
and I hope so. But all I'm asking is just give a little tweak of that fantastical element, so not every character has to be something that I can go to the the local asylum and see people like that living in there. I want something that's magical, that's unique to that universe.
Do you know what's weird? I'm going to I don't know if it is going against what you're saying or it isn't, but if you was to say to me, what would I want from this? I wouldn't want it to go past a trilogy personally. I want it to be, if they did the TV shows that are in between in between the trilogy, kind of like you had with Peacemaker, you had Suicide Squad come out, then the Peacemaker, then they might do a Suicide Squad, then another show, then Suicide Squad, and then boom, it's done. I would rather see this movie we've just had, enjoy it for a year or two, have Arkham Asylum show, whatever that's going to be about, have all the madness in there to get you really, really hyped up, really messed up. Then Batman sequel comes out with whoever was in the Arkham show. Then it goes on and they do another TV show, which is whatever, then a finale of that Batman story and then be done. That's just me, just because I really enjoyed the MCU, like all of us. We loved watching everything up to sort of Endgame. The other stuff's been okay, but we had a brilliant journey with it. But I don't think everything has to have 50 shows and 50 movies. It's good if they can keep this formula and keep this level of quality, great. But I can't see him making 20 movies with this amount of beauty in it. I just can't. If they can pull that off, bro, I'm only saying it because I don't think that they can do that. I just don't think that they're possible. I just don't think they're capable of doing that.
And if I can just close with one final point, like I said, this is a testament to what can be done with a filmmaker who has a vision. Just get this. I didn't know this until like yesterday. The budget for the Batman is the same budget as Black Widow. And look at the two different films we got. Google it. They're both 200 million it took to make both of those films. And look at the contrast. One is definitely a different market, but we saw that film over 20 times already since Iron Man 1. Now you get a unique vision and you get cinema in it, so to speak, in my opinion. So I just want more of these stories in the hands of filmmakers on both MCU and DC. That's what I want more of.
Yeah. I think we'll close with that. Ramon, I agree with what you're saying, and it does sound like they might go something like that. They're going to let us wander off in this HBO Max series world for a little bit, because I don't think the sequel is planned to come out for another 5 years. So
I'm glad with that. I know they said it's time, but
what's that?
They were making a joke when they said something like that, because they were like, "Oh, yeah, it'll be less than 5 years because this one took 5 years to make." They were talking about how long this one took to make. They were like, "Okay, it'll definitely be less than that."
Maybe, hopefully, we'll see. With that being said, I want to thank you guys for joining us today for our Batman spoiler talk. I'm excited to watch this movie again, so I love movies that you have to unpack. I really do, because my son Seth knows how many times will I obsess over a movie that I like. How many times will I watch it?
You will watch it like 25 times.
Yes, absolutely. So I can't wait till this comes out to streaming for sure, but I definitely do want to see it in theaters again. Everybody, you can join us here. We do movie reviews and all that fun stuff, but you can also join us every Sunday for Drive-By News at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where Seth, my co-host, will be with me. He's with me every week. Also with me every week is Ramon from Hit or Miss TV. And you can find a link to his channel in the description below, along with the man, the myth, the legend, Rudy from Rudy's Movies Reviews, also known as Vengeance. I am Vengeance. I appreciate all you guys. I'll see you guys backstage in just a moment. Until next time, stay trigger happy, my friends. Peace.
Bye.